And thank you, colleagues. Representative Marvin Robinson. I'll give you a bit of history that you probably didn't know. This was Representative Marvin Robinson II. Marvin Robinson I, affectionately called Buddy, more affectionately called by myself as Uncle Buddy. Uncle Buddy went to the Navy as well. Uncle Buddy, additionally, after getting out of the Navy, graduated from junior college. That was in Parsons, Kansas. I would spend summers in Parsons, Kansas. And though I never got an opportunity to meet Marvin Robinson at that time, his father would speak about him. In fact, I wasn't even sure that it was the same Marvin Robinson because, again, I knew Buddy as Uncle Buddy and not Marvin Sr. Me and Marvin had discussion after we got here as to what his lineage was and how he was tied back to Parsons, and that's when I figured out that the one that I knew as Uncle Buddy was in fact Marvin Robinson's father. I don't think anyone questions Marvin's dedication and endearment to the community that he represented. I also don't think anyone questions Marvin Robinson's dedication to education. I think you heard my colleague from Wichita several weeks ago from this same podium talk about how Marvin Robinson was a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. That fraternity was born on the campus of Howard University at what we know today as an historically black college or university. Marvin Robinson believed in education. Another unknown fact, or slightly known, I won't say unknown, there may be some of you here that are aware of this. There was at one time a historically black college or university, an HBCU, here in Kansas. In fact, that historically black college or university was not only in Kansas, but it was also on the grounds of the Quindaro ruins that Marvin worked so diligently to revitalize. That college was known then as, originally it was the Quindaro Freedmen's College of Quindaro. Later it was known as Western University. Now I sit here today and I heard colleagues say things about my colleague, Marvin Robinson, and I'll just quote a few of those from my colleague from Wichita. He said that he was an exemplary force of nature, a pillar who was dedicated to protecting and preserving the ruins. Those would be the ruins in Quindaro. Excuse me. He even went on to quote Dr. King, and his words are saying, "What good are you doing?" My colleague from Ellis County talked about how she mentioned to him to feel free to do as you want. She stated that he was such a nice person, very special, kind and understanding. Colleague from Sedgwick County stated that he was a man of extreme grace determination. He was respectful. He was polite. He was focused. Another colleague from Sedgwick County said that he was a reflection of those that came before him. And his colleague from Wyandotte mentioned how he was a man of grace, determination, commitment, dedicated to his family, his church, and his country. We all know that Marvin Robinson had a serious commitment to Wyandotte and those ruins in Quindaro. I've been in conversation with the Black Economic Union in the Quindaro area, and there is an effort, an ongoing effort, to revise that historically Black college or university. In fact, if this revitalization effort takes place, it would be the single historically Black college or university that we have in the entire state. So this man that we can all agree, and we've all stated these wonderful things about, I say he never came here and asked for a highway to be named after him. He came to this body, and any of you who've spoken with him, he made no mistake about it. He was here for a single purpose, and that was Quindaro. And so I say to you that his dedication to education, his desire, this man who was an exemplary force of nature, do we not owe him slightly more than simply naming a few hundred yards of highway? Couldn't we do more? Couldn't we partnership with that Black Economic Union? And they've agreed that they would name that historically Black college or university after Marvin Robinson in the name of the M. Robinson Freedmen's College of Quindaro. And with that, I have an amendment. Along with this amendment, I have a second amendment, knowing that there may be a situation where we're unsure of where those funds may come from because of the rules of PAYGO. However, there are unspent funds as interest from the ARPA money that we already have that would cover the cost of the $500,000 that would purchase the property and provide the feasibility study so that we could put on this ground where this exemplary force of nature spent so much time, so much effort, the commitment, the dedication, the determination, the politeness, the respect, the focus.
Representative, would you care to offer your amendment, please?
I will move my amendment, sir.
The amendment appears long. Representative, would you care to explain your amendment?
I certainly will. The amendment simply states that this body would agree to partner with the Black Economic Union and provide the $500,000 that would be required to purchase the property as well as do the feasibility study, and name that college respectfully the M. Robinson Freedmen's University of Quindaro. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
Is there anybody who would like to speak to the amendment? Representative Hoheisel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, the bringer of the amendment, but I believe for several reasons this amendment is non-germane, so therefore I challenge germaneness.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the body's indulgence. I also appreciate those statements that were made by the colleague who spoke before me with respect to how we might be able to look at this bill and appropriations. I'm sure as my live is running from my seat that those members of Mr. Robinson's family that are probably tuned in right now and watching that, they were happy to hear that as well. Hopefully we can see this again as an appropriations bill, and I will draw my amendment.